In this lesson, we'll embark on a historical journey to understand how money has evolved over millennia. From primitive systems to sophisticated financial instruments, we'll explore significant milestones that have shaped the way we perceive and use money today. Before the advent of coins and paper currency, ancient societies used various items as mediums of exchange. These items were typically valued for their rarity, beauty, or utility, and played a crucial role in facilitating trade and social transactions. However, each of these early forms of money eventually failed or were replaced due to inherent limitations. Let's start with beads and have a look at two completely different forms. Wampum beads were meticulously crafted by Native American tribes from the purple and white parts of quahog and whelk shells. Creating wampum was labor-intensive, requiring precision to drill holes and shape the shells into uniform beads. Beyond being used as a medium of exchange, wampum beads also served as records of significant events such as treaties, marriages, and historical narratives. In the 15th century, European explorers and traders brought glass beads to Africa. Known as trade beads, these became highly valued in West African societies. Glass beads were used in rituals, as status symbols, and in art. They played a role in ceremonies like weddings and were often buried with the dead as grave goods. Beads facilitated trade not only within communities but also between vastly different cultures, bridging gaps in language and customs. They held spiritual meanings, symbolizing life, fertility, and social status. Beads were more than money, they were integral to the fabric of society. But why did they fail as money? The mass production of glass beads in Europe led to a surplus in Africa, diminishing their value and causing economic disruptions. As societies grew and economies became more complex, beads couldn't meet the demands of larger-scale trade and were replaced by more practical currencies. Rye stones are giant stone discs with a hole in the center, quarried from limestone deposits on Palau, an island over 400 kilometers away from Yap. The stones were first created over 500 years ago, when Yapese sailors journeyed to Palau and brought back the stones using bamboo rafts and canoes. The journey to obtain a rye stone was perilous, involving long voyages across open ocean waters. The difficulty of the journey, the size of the stone, and the number of lives lost during transport all contributed to the stone's value. Ownership was often a matter of communal knowledge, rather than physical possession due to their size. Transactions involving rye stones were recorded through stories and communal memory. Everyone in the village knew who owned which stone. The stones represented wealth and status. The larger and more historic the stone, the greater its value. But why did they fail as money? Their enormous size made everyday transactions impossible, limiting their utility in a growing economy. They also were unique to Yap and had no value outside the island, restricting trade with other regions. When Europeans arrived with advanced tools, they assisted in quarrying and transporting more stones, leading to an oversupply and devaluation. Cowrie shells were one of the longest and most widely used currencies in history, used in China, Africa, India, and the Pacific Islands. The shells were collected from shallow waters and traded along ancient trade routes. Cowrie shells were used as early as 1200 BCE during the Shang dynasty. They were so integral that the Chinese character for money is derived from the shape of a cowrie shell. Their hard, glossy surface made them resistant to wear, and their small size made them easy to carry. Cowrie shells failed as European traders, seeking goods like slaves and gold, imported massive quantities of cowrie shells, leading to severe inflation. Also, metal currencies offered more consistent value and were more suitable for the expanding trade networks. This brings us to the use of metals and coins as money. The introduction of metal coins marked a significant advancement in monetary systems, offering standardized units of value, durability, and widespread acceptance. However, they too faced challenges that led to their respective evolution. Silver has been a medium of exchange since at least 600 BCE. In Athens, the discovery of silver mines at Laurium financed the city's naval fleet, contributing to its dominance in the Mediterranean. Silver facilitated trade along the Silk Road, connecting the East and West. It was a key commodity in ancient trade networks, including the Roman Empire and the Han Dynasty. Silver was valued for its luster and malleability, used in jewelry and utensils. Coins were minted with specific weights and purities, such as the Greek drachma and the Roman denarius, fostering trust. Why it faced challenges. Governments often reduced the silver content in coins to stretch their resources, leading to inflation. Massive silver imports from the New World led to price drops and inflation, known as the price revolution in Europe. Transporting large amounts of silver was risky due to theft and piracy, prompting the need for more efficient means of exchange. Gold. Gold's use dates back to at least 2600 BCE in Egypt, where it was associated with the divine and used in tombs and temples. Civilizations across the world, including the Inca, the Aztecs, and the kingdoms of West Africa, prized gold for its beauty and rarity. Gold's appeal transcended cultures, making it a preferred medium for international trade. Gold does not corrode or tarnish, preserving its appearance and value over millennia. The most unique aspect of gold is that it cannot be artificially created. Unlike paper currency or other commodities, gold must be mined and refined from natural deposits. This scarcity makes gold inherently valuable, as its supply is limited by nature. Why it faced challenges. During economic uncertainty, individuals and institutions hoarded gold, reducing its circulation and hampering economic activity. The physical weight and security risks of transporting gold led to the development of paper money and banking systems as more practical solutions. Now let's have a look at specific coins used in the past. First of all, let's look at Roman coinage. The Roman monetary system included various coins. Aureus, a gold coin used primarily for large transactions. The aureus was highly valued and reserved for significant exchanges, wealth storage, and payment for imperial or military purposes. Denarius, a silver coin that became the backbone of daily commerce across the empire. It was widely used for buying goods and paying wages, making it the most recognized coin among Roman citizens. Sestertius and as, bronze coins that facilitated smaller, everyday transactions. These were essential for the lower classes of society to engage in commerce and purchase everyday necessities. Coinage enabled efficient trade across the empire, from Britain to Egypt, and facilitated taxation. Standardized coins, minted with precise measurements, promoted consistency and imperial authority. Why it failed. To fund military campaigns, emperors like Nero reduced the silver content in coins, causing inflation. As Roman expansion slowed, the lack of new wealth put economic pressure on the empire, leading to financial instability and the eventual collapse of the monetary system. It makes sense to also take a closer look at the solidus from the Byzantine Empire. In 312 AD, Emperor Constantine the Great introduced the solidus, a new gold coin, as a successor to the Roman aureus to stabilize the economy and restore confidence after periods of inflation. The solidus became the cornerstone of Byzantine commerce and taxation for over 7 centuries. It maintained consistent gold content, which helped stabilize prices and facilitated long-distance trade. The coin featured detailed portraits of emperors and Christian symbols, promoting imperial authority and the spread of Christianity. The solidus was renowned for its unwavering gold purity, approximately 95 to 98% pure gold. Continuous wars, such as those against the Persians and later Muslim caliphates, drained the empire's resources. Starting in the 10th century, successive emperors reduced the gold content to cover expenses, leading to inflation. We will come back to the Byzantine Empire later in our Bitcoin journey. As we see, these coins often failed by governments reducing their purity, using the saved value for expansion and wars. This practice not only devalued the currency, but also triggered inflation, an increase in prices due to the declining purchasing power of money. When coins contained less precious metal, people began to lose trust in their value, leading to higher prices as merchants demanded more coins to compensate for the reduced worth. This cycle of debasement and inflation eroded economic stability, highlighting the fragility of money systems tied to government control and manipulation. Now that we've explored the ancient history of money, the next lesson will focus on the modern form of money we use today: fiat currencies and the systems that support them.